Guys, last night I researched some of the videos about moon-based variants of Starship, and I found out a lot of politics about moon variant Starship, which was really very disturbing to me. From distance videos, smarter every day, a lot of another stories from a lot of different types of videos. First, we have to understand some of these things, then we'll talk about it in the conclusion at the last. So the political disturbance stories is that this lady is evil. Before this, let me clear that every major decision in NASA is done by a committee with a proper paperwork, with everything. Like, it's not, oh, I decided. And they have learned this from the hard way. And if anybody presses that button, you can scrub it, literally scrub it. Nobody gives a damn. President works to do a TV speech with his teacher in the space on the Sunday news, like nobody gives it. If anybody says I doubt, scrub it. But somehow in modern NASA, one individual made a selective decision, and somehow she just like, I like it, I was gonna give it, and she gave a backdoor feedback. If you remember the old debacle where the SpaceX price was too low, turns out a backdoor dealing. There's the price. SpaceX didn't originally stated that the start of the low price, and instead of suggesting all of the three players, NASA selected only SpaceX. They were like, no, only SpaceX get to know. I already approved it. We classified all of the decisions and actions, and that's why they filed lawsuit. And you remember, they won. What the f is happening with this company, man? They won, and it was proved backdoor action, flat out. It's an illegal thing. It is not 70s. If you want to seriously to make a base on moon, then we have to first consider multiple options. At that time, she did take that decision, and this lady returned from NASA, and now she is working for SpaceX. Basically, she was planning a retire plan. Government will not giving you enough money, and NASA's director knows that. They get the budget, so they are public, and they should have to tell everything to public. And the revised budget at that time wasn't public. Thankfully, somebody had enough brain in NASA. They have learned from several eras that shall not have one point of failure under no circumstances. No matter how good SpaceX is, you should always try to your best with multiple options. Okay, so is there any problem with the Starship for moon variants? Yeah, here in moon variants, big problem happening. Moon-based Starship variants is like one stage and second stage, and also both are reusable in the projects of moon base, and that's where they messed up. Someone at NASA said that there's going to at least 15 launch or to make only one project successful, because they are forcing the stage 2 design to be stage 3 to go to moon.
Then I started trying to understand the architecture to get there, okay? I did not understand until this week, when I really thought I was going to embarrass myself in front of you guys, and then decided to further embarrass myself in front of you guys. I didn't realize that in order to get the human lander to the moon, we have to launch a bunch of additional rockets to tank up in low Earth orbit. I didn't know that. And I'm like, well, how many rockets do we have to do that with? And they're like, 6. And then I start, because I know people, I start calling people. I was like, dude, really, how many rockets is it? They're like, well, boil off. And okay, so I was like, some people were like, well, it's looking like 8. I was like, 8 rockets? We have to fire 8 rockets to fire 1 rocket to the moon? And then they're like, I mean, that's what they're saying, but it's probably more like 12. Really? And then I was like, you know, I'm an engineer. I know how to do this stuff. So I started to account for like nominal schedule slip and boil off. And this is how many rockets it's going to take to fuel up that thing to get it to the moon. I've done the math. If you had any questions, I'm joking. Remember, I'm the bad guy. I'm going to turn around and be the good guy in a minute. So the question is this smart? And now's the time where people are scared to talk again. Not efficient. It's not efficient. So in the bottom right, I've drawn a picture. I've picked a picture from the We Are Going video. That's how many rockets went to the moon and landed for Apollo, for all of Apollo. And I'll take you back to this chart. Okay, I've said enough. Is this the simplest solution? Okay, so I should probably leave now. I'm Dustin.
So it kind of looks like I'm picking on number of rockets in the talk here. I'm actually picking on communication. So the thing that's interesting to me is that people in the audience did not know the number of rockets that were going to be used to refuel the lander. That's a problem. I was trying to be funny, and there were stakeholders in the room. When I said 12 rockets the way I did, they laughed.
It's probably more like 12.
There are others that weren't laughing. Here's the deal. people didn't know the answer to this question. Shortly after delivering this talk, we saw an answer to this question. This article came out. Someone at NASA said it's going to take at least 15. So we at least have a baseline now. We have a floor. It could be more than that. It's at least 15. We still don't know the answer to how many rockets it's going to take to fuel that thing up. And I would submit to you that that's a problem. This is indicative of a communication problem.
If you need something more enough, you can docking or you can build third stage for that. Don't force a second stage. That's why it requires so much refueling. It is overbuilt. It's look like this design is not gonna happen under 2026, and then can you expect Starship launch before 2020? Absolutely. Can you expect successful orbit? Why not? Can you expect lunar injection burn with this stupid design? Hell no. This plan has not cooked. So what's the solution? Either you have to try on docking or making 3 stages of moon variants. Otherwise, it's a failed idea. Okay, some of the people coming out and saying that it's a failed idea, right? Is Elon Musk unaware about that? In 2020, Elon Musk tweeted that forward thrusters are to stabilize ships when landing in high winds. If goal is max payload to moon per ship, no heat shield or flaps or big gas thrusters packs are needed. They can serve as a part of the moon base alpha. It means he knows everything and thought like he'll still doing all of that, but he'll convert all of the Starship boosters into base. And then I did a little bit more and I found that this idea is growing in International Space University 2021, which was this saying that it's all a well established and researched idea of utilizing the large volume of properties of empty fuel tanks to create a robust space habitat, while this applicable to any sufficient large rocket body. And I found a comment about that in someone's video's comments. Will this plan involve building a crane facility to first lift the Starship to the surface of the moon and then lay it down horizontally? And this is the great question. And the answer is that Starship is cooking. By the way, Elon Musk's mindset is more mature now, was using the SpaceX Starship human landing system as a structural basis for the lunar settlement, and demanded the developments of 2 variants of these one-way lunar Starship. First is HLS and second is cargo carrier. HLS or human landing system designed to facilitate permanent lunar facilities. It's the cargo section undergo to the transformative phase during construction, allowing to evolve into a horizontal lunar habitat vehicle, service center, agricultural, space or others. Upon reaching the moon and unloading its cargo, the cargo section can be detached from the HLS Starship tankage section using a mobile crane previously sent to the moon. To assist in these operations, the Morocco fleet will be developed and utilized in the transportation sequence. The purpose of the cruise at the time will deploying power reactors, solar panels, as well as draining the remaining fuel into their respective tanks. And the Morocco will install a system that will assist the crew in horizontalizing the Starship on the ground. Some crew members will conduct their first lunar extravehicle activity to initiate the horizontal maneuver of the Starship. At that point, HLS is connected to a hinge and cable system, allowing the ship to place horizontally on the ground. After the propellant tanks will be removed and repurposed for habitats, space accommodating crew cabins, storage areas, and research facility. After positions horizontally or connect with other cargo sections, it's then shielded with lunar regoliths for protection against radiations and micrometeorites. The crew will install floors, walls, ventilations, bathrooms, and any other equipment that the habitat require, and the story goes on with the futuristic goals. So what's the conclusion I have after all of this? It is just NASA has to play well with more and more options, because for sustainable future of moon we'll need actually more and more stories, and this is not enough. Okay, I'm done. Bye bye.